Welcome back, everyone. So as the beginning of this video says, viewer discretion is strongly advised. In life, sometimes we get that feeling when we meet someone for the first time, or maybe we've known that person for half of our lives, or we've known them for several years, but we get that feeling that there is something about this person that just gives us a feeling of pending doom, or we get the idea and the feeling that this individual is up to no good and that they must be avoided at all costs. Today, we're taking a look at an individual and a tragic case out of Boise, Idaho, where everybody who knew this individual, the assailant, knew, and they understood, they had a feeling that this person was going to do something violent towards other people, if not today, tomorrow, month from now, 6 months from now. They just knew this individual was not stable. They had an anger issue, and every time that they got to that point where everything came to a boiling point, they became violent towards everyone around them. Today, we're looking at the tragic passing of 3-year-old Ruya Kadir. Who was Ruya Kadir? Ruya Kadir was a bubbly, bright little girl who wanted nothing more but to dress up and play princess for the day. Her favorite colors were pink and blue. She loved Disney princesses and dancing to Disney songs. All of her friends and family loved Ruya Kadir, and they knew that Ruya Kadir and her family were up against the wall. They had a lot of things that were going on in their lives that were barriers to the American dream. Ruya Kadir's mother and father had fled war-torn Ethiopia and Turkey and had resettled in Boise, Idaho, trying to find that American dream, hoping and praying with enough work, enough hard work, enough love, enough luck that they could get that American dream. They wanted nothing more but the best for their little girl. And everything seemed to be all right for the first part of their new life here in America, in Boise, Idaho, until this tragic day in 2018. A man who they knew since coming to America, that they had shortly, thereafter moving to Boise to this apartment complex, had friended and had helped them, with the simpler things like acquiring transportation, finding their way, in and out of the system to get, Ruya into school, where to go to, for groceries, where they could find ethnic food that they knew from their homeland, things that they had grown up on. He was vastly helpful in the beginning. But his temper, when he used alcohol and drugs, was something that scared everybody around him. They knew, stay away from Tim, when he is under the influence of anything. And on this tragic day, he was. But it starts before then. 2 days prior to the tragic events, Tim Kenner was asked to leave the apartment complex itself, not only by the tenants, but by the management of the actual complex. They asked him, just please leave. He was not renting an apartment there. He was staying with friends and friends of the actual Ruya Kadir's family at the time. He was out of work, a loner, on and off again, and in and out of drugs and in and out of jail. He had an anger issue and had also dealt with chronic depression, from what friends and family have said to reporters and to the police department, to Bill Bones, the chief of police of the Boise Police Department, that he had dealt with anger issues and drugs and alcohol in the past. In particular, in 2018, Ruya Kadir was gathering in the backyard with other family members and friends who were resettled in the Boise, Idaho area, fled war-torn Syria, Iraq, Ethiopia, and Turkey, who had been resettled there to start a new life, to try to get, a piece of that American dream. They all worked hard. None of them were living on the system at all. Contrary to the popular beliefs that these citizens, these resettled citizens from around the world had been moved to Boise, Idaho to live off of welfare. Of the 9 families who were there that day, none of them, absolutely none of them, were on any type of state assistance. Every one of them had working families. In this case, Ruya Kadir's father worked 2 jobs. Ruya's mother worked 2 jobs. She worked 1 job away from home, and at home she actually had a 2nd job where she did sewing and other embroidery work for those in the immigrant community around her. 4 jobs between 2 people as they worked hard to try to acquire that American dream. Timothy came back to it to confront Ruya's mother at this birthday party. When he came back and she wasn't there, he became enraged. Walked outside of the apartment to the backyard where the children were playing, pulled out a large hunting knife, and began stabbing children at random for no reason at all. As adults got into it and tried to intervene and stop him from his ongoing assault upon everyone, he grabbed Ruya and stabbed her multiple times. He was eventually knocked to the ground and the knife was taken from him. The police came and they arrested him. He was charged originally with a total of 11 felonies. 8 of them were stabbing someone with an aggravated circumstance of a deadly weapon. Ruya and 4 others were rushed to the hospital, and 3 went into emergency surgery. Ruya went into emergency surgery to try to stop the blood loss and to save her life. But Ruya Kadir succumbed to her injuries 2 days later. This 3-year-old little girl, who all she wanted to do was have the American dream, to have the cake, open presents, and watch a Disney movie and dance with her friends. That's all she wanted. Now, her family is without their lovely little angel. Ruya didn't deserve this. Neither did anybody else who was at this party. Timothy Kenner, as part of a plea bargain that took the death penalty off the table, has decided to, and has now, pled guilty to 10 total felonies. In this case, 1 count of first-degree murder, 8 counts of aggravated assault, and 1 additional count of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. He will be sentenced for his crimes in June, if at the earliest date possible. But due to COVID backlogs in the court system. It may not be June. It may be November before he's sentenced. But they are going to do everything they can, according to the Boise prosecuting attorney's office, to get him into court to stand, and answer to these final charges, so that to give the family and everyone in the Boise, Idaho area some kind of closure, knowing that this man will never be on the streets with them again. Timothy Kenner, age 32, got 29 more years of life, liberty, and justice than Ruya Kadir, an immigrant child, ever got. Tragic. But everyone who was there that day, that spoke to the Associated Press or made a statement to Boise, Idaho Chief of Police Bill Bones, said they all knew that Timothy Kenner was violent whenever he got to a point where he was so upset he couldn't let it go, or whenever he got to that point and was using alcohol or drugs. They all knew to avoid this man. And now, Ruya Kadir is gone. Say a prayer for Ruya Kadir and her family.